Hi everybody, I'm Christy, the head of reference from the Dougherty County Public Library, and today we're talking about Sewing 101. And a lot of things with sewing, I find machine sewing to be a lot easier than hand sewing. So today I thought we would talk a little bit about what you get when you get a sewing machine. So I have here a sewing machine. It's actually new to me, and one of the things that any YouTube video that you look at beginning sewing will recommend is that you read your instruction manual. Now I'll tell you with mine, it didn't come with an instruction manual, so I kind of look at things up online with the make and the model to find out little different things. The instruction manual is going to tell you a lot about what these knobs do, because all of them have very important purposes, and the type of stitch you have, and how long the stitch is. It also has to do with the tension on your machine. So the other thing you get when you unbox your machine is you will have a pedal, and a lot of times your pedals come, and when we unravel it, you'll see that it's got two little plug-ins on it. So I've got this part, which is obviously going to go in the wall, but then I have this part. This part is going to go into the machine, and mine's got a spot for it right over here on the side. So we'll plug that in. This other part that's sitting here is our foot pedal, and that's going to be what we use to make the machine go. So I'm just going to stick this down on the floor. Other things that you will need to know coming right out is there is a lever right here that will raise the needle. If you watch this right here, it raises this part up and down. So it's kind of hard to see, but it's raising it up now, it's down now. You want this up when you're not using it, down when you are using it. What that is doing is it's raising and lowering your needle, and the needle is right here in this part. This one's already got a needle in it. A lot of times when you first get your machine, there's a little pocket or storage somewhere. This one's right here. And in this storage, there are extra needles in here. So if mine happens to break, or if I need a different type of needle, it comes with some in there. Other things this machine had with it are extra bobbins. So the way that a traditional sewing machine would work is you have a thread from the top, you have a thread from the bottom. And what those are going to do is meet right here, and they kind of knot and go back their separate ways. And it's that knotting motion that's making it stay together. Whereas when you're sewing, you're doing the up and down in between. So what I've done to kind of illustrate that is I have a white thread on the bottom. I'm going to have a dark thread on the top. I'll probably use the black so that we can kind of see the difference. Some other things that were in here are extra feet. And the foot is just this little part here, and it goes on the bottom, right here. And what the foot does is it's going to help push your material through and help keep it straight. It also keeps it from bunching. Another thing to note is there are different types of feet for different types of material. So if you're working with blue jean, that's a special foot. If you're working with fleece material, that's going to be a special foot. It allows for the different thickness of the material. This one also came with some tinkering tools, some screwdrivers, so if you need to adjust tension, some lubricant, and I believe there's a thread ripper. Yes. So this little doodad here, if we look at him, he is a seam ripper. And what he does is if I sew something and I realized, oh my gosh, I sewed two things together that didn't belong, I can easily take this between the material and it will easily break the thread so that they come apart. And so this has got a lid here for it to keep it nice and secure. Another thing a lot of machines will come with that I don't have with mine today is a threader. And what the threader looks like is it's usually a flat piece with like a little round loop on the top. And all you do is you take it and you stick it through the eye of the needle, put the thread in it, and then drag it back through, and that way you don't have to try to get the thread through that little itty bitty eye on your machine. All right, to turn the machine on, there is a switch over here. I can just turn on and you notice the light comes on. The light will help you see. Something else you may or may not notice is on the plates there are measurements. And these measurements are going to be used as you are sewing to make sure that you keep the end salvaged the same so that your seams are even. So the material I've got today that I'm going to play with is some old Animaniacs from back when they were on in the 90s. I know that they've made a reappearance on Hulu. My daughter found this the other day when we were going through stuff, and she wants a pillowcase made out of the Animaniacs material. So I thought we would do that real quick to show how this works. If your bobbin is not threaded or you don't have it on there, your bobbin is located in a little compartment that is usually hidden in this area. Some of them will have it on top. This one has it kind of in the front. So to get to it, I have to remove this case. So I took off the little storage case, and we can see that there's a door right here. This is where my bobbin is. So the bobbin will come out. If you lift open, there's a latch on the front, and then you can pull out. And you'll see that the bobbin sits in a little case inside the container. The bobbin can be threaded on the sewing machine. If your bobbin doesn't have any string on it, it can be wound. You put the bobbin up here, the thread here, it comes down around the tension knot, goes back around. You push this over, which puts it in mode to be wound, and that'll wind the bobbin with the thread, the same thread you're using. All right. The correct way to thread this is it comes out of the spool. There is a hook right here that it goes under. It went through the hook. It went underneath this. It came down, went back up, and caught this moving arm right here. So it catches that at the top, comes back down, goes through this little holder, comes through this little holder, and there's another one down here by the needle before it goes through the needle. And then we put the threads towards the back. All right, to prep the material, first thing you'll want to do is iron it. You want your material to be flat. If you're doing something simple that you're kind of doing by hand, you won't need a pattern or anything. If you're doing something that you're unfamiliar with, you may purchase a pattern, which usually comes on this really, really thin paper, like this brown. This is doll clothes. This is what I tend to make a lot of, is doll clothes. So you would follow the directions with the pattern by cutting it out and pinning them on the material and transferring the directions over. It will also come with directions that are written out that you can unfold on how to gather the pieces, put them together, what needs to be pleated and bunched. As mine is just a simple pillow, I'm not that worried about it. So I'm going to take my material here, and we are just going to take it and fold it where I want my case to be. So making this into a pillowcase. And I'm going to keep the fold there so I have one less seam. What I want to do when I'm sewing though is I want to put the like sides together, or outsides facing each other. So right now you can tell the colors are very vibrant. This is the side I want everybody to see. So I'm going to flip this over so that now we're looking at the back side of the material. Right? Now on the back side of the material, I'm going to pin the edges with straight pins to help guide and keep the material in place so that it doesn't move around as I'm sewing. I am going to start at an edge, and I am going to give myself just a 3/8 edge. My foot is up. I'm going to put my material in. I'm going to put my foot down. the threads I have here pulled out to the back. You're going to start with, you can either slowly press the pedal or do it by hand here to get a couple stitches going. Then there's a reverse button, mine's on the front, and you'll want to reverse a couple, and that'll help make a knot before it goes forward again. Okay. All right, I've gotten this side done and this side. So this one right here is going to be the top where she'll insert her pillow or whatever. So for this side, I'm just going to do a hem instead of sewing it all together. So I'm just going to turn it back about a 1/2 inch, which is enough for this little black line. And then I'm going to sew that down with the sewing machine and the pillowcase will be done. And then I can turn this the correct way. And I've made just a sack. So you can see it's just a sack with my brightly colored material that she can put one of her large pillows in. It's got the hem around the edge. Nothing fancy, just to use with the old material. All right, in this video already, I showed you a little unboxing and I showed you how to thread the machine. And I've told you how important it is to know where your user manual is. And I've taken time in between some of these shots to look up some of mine to find out what was going on. One common problem that I was having was on the back side, I kept getting big, like bird's nest of string. And what that meant was something was not threaded right. And so I went back into my manual and I looked again. And so what I had to do was start here, come through the little loop right next to it, and I was going down the wrong side of this one. So when I corrected that and went up, then it was okay. I also went through the bobbin and looked at how to thread it according to the manual and made sure that was okay. So through this video, one thing I want you to notice is I make a lot of mistakes. I have a lot of problems, but it's taking the time to learn why they're happening and working on fixing them that's going to make your sewing a success. We will be back next month where we'll work on unpacking a pattern and following up something with that. Have a great day.